Right, everything looks fine. Yeah, okay. Game plan. Want to open another case. I still have a few cases to go through. I don't know how many I want to end up with, but, well, we still have somewhat of a wall to pick apart. And then the Blitz decks. We'll probably tackle them on a Blitz decks, right? Look through them, relearn the game is the expression I want to use, right? Because I understand the mechanics and everything like that, but I think starting from scratch is probably the better mentality to keep. Something to just point out that always irks me: the uprising decks, right? It's upside down to me. A little bit annoying. But yeah, so we'll probably tackle Levia and Prism more so than anything. Again, I'm not too big on the soul mechanical learning that. I think Blood Debt is easier to get through my brain. I do want to take a look at the decks, because I've never actually really opened the pre-con decks, aside from the classic battles. Look through the decks, and then upgrade it to a classic constructed, using, hopefully, what we pull today. And then, yeah, sort of think through and talk through the mechanics, and then eventually we'll start actually, trying to consistently play games on Teleshare. Question is, what box do we open? Like doing random rather than just going down the list. Go with this one, I think. Curious to see what number the boxes are. I think the majority of mine have been from batch S17. Sure not to damage the boxes inside. That is not the gap, too. That is still not the gap. There we go. Enough to tear. Ugh. Boxes are very, very thick, the Japanese. There we go. Alright, that should be fine. Okay, so four boxes to sit through. We'll probably separate cards a bit better than what we normally do, right? Because we'll look for the Levia stuff, the Prism stuff. I guess we'll do Runeblade and Bolton, why not? We'll crack all the decks and see how hard it is to extend them. Because the whole idea, I think, that a lot of us sort of push is, grab yourself a Blitz deck, one of the sets, probably, not just the individuals, from whatever blocks, in this case Monarch, and then grab yourself a box and use that to expand them. So I'm curious to what degree, off of, say, one box versus a case, you can actually, upgrade the decks with a reasonable amount of different cards. You can definitely get them to classic constructed levels, right? But good? That's another question. With the rate of legendaries, I definitely say go for Dusk till Dawn over Monarch, right? You'll find some useful stuff for all three of them. Okay, S17 still. There we are, 230, 522. Last box I opened was... that's not good. 525. Right, so, obviously, this is the case predicating this box, right? So I'd assume it will have a 2-2, 2-3, 2-4, and 2-1. I don't know. Actually, that's another thing I'd probably want to check. If boxes within a case are actually randomized. I don't think they are. I think they are consecutive. Which is actually kind of nice, because it speaks to the volume of randomization that we see in Dusk till Dawn versus everything else. Just for interest's sake. Just see what the number is on this one. Ooh, S17. Wait. No. I was wrong. So it's case number, not actual box number. Right, so this is case 235, 2020. So I assume then the boxes won't be randomized. Okay. See what we can find. Have enough space? Yeah, enough space. How to do this? Do we care for the comments for the most part? Gonna have to reread and relearn. But a lot of them are just sort of statistics. We'll probably still leave the comments. We might sift through them at the end and see if there's anything of interest. But for instance, obviously the new Runegate cards are something you definitely want for Vizette. Vile Inquisition, just a shadow action. You may play this from your banish zone. If you do, it costs 2 less to play. Target hero banishes. See, okay, so I'm curious what playstyle of Levia to really use. Right, what's the benefits of running Levia over, say, Rhino? Because, you know, Alpha Rampage is sort of what a lot of Rhino decks are built around, right? And a lot of specializations of what a lot of heroes are obviously built around. But if you were to just do a dice roll sort of Prism deck, right? Use the stock standard packets for Rhino and then throw in some of the niche Shadow cards or Shadow Brute cards. You know, you sort of circumvent Blood Debt, and I don't know, it could be interesting. Right? We'll find a Levia token soon enough, and then we can look at that. So yeah. Commons we'll put over there, and then we'll sort everything else by class and subtype. Right. Let me organize a little bit better, so we have a bit more room. Some stuff to the side. Leave them up there. Backs sideways. Right. Oh, they're the commons. I am right-handed. Right, so you're on my right. Okay. Shadow Runeblade, Shadow Brutes, Shadow Generics in the middle, something like that. I think that'll be fine. Ooh, Gold Foil. Front, line, leg. Should we include this in our deck? Probably not. Such a worthless set of equipment. I do like the gold over the normal, just silver of the Iron Rod and Iron Hide. Right, I do like the generic equipment sets. I feel like they could have come up with something a little bit better. Then just at the beginning of the end phase, put a -1 counter on this. Right. So again, if you go first, starts at 2. Instantly, it's a -1. Right? And then you're better off running any of the other armor pieces. Anything else of note? Radiant set, probably not. Again, we'll probably just dump the commons. We have our first Light Illusionist. So Heralds will be an interesting thing. So coincidentally, right, upgrading the Prism deck, I will have to see how many Heralds actually come in the precon. Because you can't use Dusk Till Dawn to add in the Herald precon or Herald packets, right, to Prism. You get enough cards to play with Heralds, but you won't get anywhere near enough Heralds to actually do anything. Hold on, just go over there. Is that the right? Yeah, that's right, Clark. First Bolton. So just commons. Death Whale, Shadow Runeblade, that's Runegate. Again, important. Light action. Right, when this attacks a Shadow hero, it gets +1. So many of these effects would have been great in the generic slot. So that, you know, everyone could take advantage of them. Oh well. And V for Valor. Yeah, no, I don't know, the Soul Mechanic. Ooh, that's some pretty bad edge damage on that one. Right, luckily it is just our rare. It's frontline equipment. So no Levia. In fact, this pack feels bad altogether. Yeah, the cutting on this one is pretty awful. Right, can you see the raised edge? It's on the majority of cards, especially on the bottom here. Soul Butcher. Am I keeping the foils? I think I'm also separating foils. Right, because then I can put all these commons just into my bulk box. Yeah. Generic. Great generic. Shadow and Shadow. Oh, Sword Skull. That is actually useful, right? We're building a Levia deck. So what does it do? Banish this. Target 3 action cards with different names in your banish zone and choose one at random. You may play it this turn. Go again. Alright. Seems really useful. The face down mechanic. Right, I think I've been reading into that a bit more. Any cards turned face down are essentially removed from play. So I assume this won't target them. right? So for instance, if you had a big stack of cards in your banish zone, you go into the, say, new Levia, right, the special extra deck card, and they flip over, you then, can stack it a bit better. I assume that's how the sports gold mechanic would work, right? Need some validation on that, though. Shadow, Light, and Brute. Shadow Scream. As additional cost to play this card, banish a random card from hand. The next Brute or Shadow attack action gain +5. And I want to try and make a sort of OTK with the Shaden Hydra and a bunch of those buff cards. Light, first Herald, that's actually quite nice. And then Shadow Rune Blade. The Vizet seems somewhat slow to me, like the new model. You want to sort of spend a turn building up, and then you don't want to pop your Runechant tokens, I should say, right? So you want to spend a turn building everything up, setting up the next one, and then go into a heavy attack turn where you're capitalizing on rune gates, and then obviously popping all your Runechant tokens. Well, that's a Brute card. Lingering Demagon, and a Bannet. I'm actually curious about the Bannet cards. And the whole token generation for Bolton. Oh, we got a Iris of Reality, right? You control the weapons with base 5 attack, and once per turn, +2, but no go again. Would you use this over the new Luminaris? Luminaris? Luminaris. I think it's Luminaris. Have to think about that one. Shadow, and then Flicker Trick. Olivia. Prism, Light, and Brute. If you banish a card with 6 or more attack this turn, this gets overpowered and can't be defended. Yeah, that's overpower. I suppose buffing can't with those types of effects a little bit better. And going after just the Shaden Death Hydra because it has a base 13, possibly. Widespread Annihilation, that's good. Rune Blade, Rune Gate, and then Combat Chain closes. Each hero who has lost life this turn banishes a card from their hand. Definitely seems strong. Would you want to run all of the widespread cards? Basically junk. It's a Shadow. Oh, finally, Olivia. Okay, so it's just about negating blood debts, right? Card with 6 or more is being put into your banish zone this turn. Cards you only lose blood debt during the end phase. Yeah, it's just about playing into that ability. But still, having access to these Shadow Brute cards is probably a bit better. We do have to look for the adult version, because I assume the adult version, right, the card in the Blitz deck isn't double-sided. Kind of want it to be double-sided, right, so you could easily transition into a constructed deck. Another Surgical Extraction. This brings my total of Surgical Extractions up to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not bad. Almost 1 every 2 cases. At this rate. Well, that's slightly higher than 1 every 2. Northern Winds. Let's check it with the cold foil. Cleansing Light and Envelop in Darkness. Adult Bolton. Nada. Probably have a playset of Wallbreaker by now. At least for Blitz. I don't know about 3 of a kind. Swing is brute. Decimated great axe. That's another one to try out, right? Dorinthia two-hand axe. Actually, I think I'd rather build a Emperor two-hand axe, right? I think I'd like to tackle China for Blitz and the Emperor for Blitz, right? Because Blitz is, to me, still sort of just a have fun, you know, format. It's not so much go for the win or anything like that. A few packs left for this box. Not too great a pull. Looks of it. Obviously, Northern Winds would be a bit better if Oldham wasn't just banned. Illusionist and Light. Runeblade, hold the line, hold the line. Attacking hero has drawn 2 or more cards this turn, prevent the next 3 damage. How likely is it that they will draw 2? Right, that's definitely a matchup specific card. There's only a few heroes that really go heavy into draw. Drawing 1, right, not too difficult. Drawing more than 1, I can see it being somewhat of an issue. I don't think anyone runs like the Sith packets or anything like that, where you're cycling through a lot of cards. There, and there. Alright, 4 packs for this box. Can we find anything decent? The Herald, but no. Nada. It's light, and nada. Demagon, and Runeblade. Right, like the last pack. So what we can find. Anything at all? A Luminaris Lance. That's decent. So this is going to cost play this banish 3 cards from your hero's soul. Choose that many modes. Right, so if you banish all 3, you can pick all 3. There is no repeat, right? So in most circumstances, target light action gets when this hits gain go again, +2, draw a card. Probably, you definitely want the go again, right? That would probably be the biggest use of this. So banish 1 card for go again on anything. And then draw a card, maybe. +2 isn't significant unless you have, you know, a few things where they have decent on-hit effects that you want to definitely trigger. Right. With the common cards, you could turn your decks into as constructed. But, you know, having decent cards, I should say. You'd definitely be fine, you know, grabbing a set of precons and then a box. I think we'll open the whole case and then we'll tackle evaluating and upgrading the Blitz decks. So, box number 2. See what we can find. We have Adult Levia. Right. Put that aside in case we need it for the Blitz deck. Yeah, and I think I want to lean on Levia this sort of season set. Brute was the first hero I played before transitioning to Ninja, realistically. Olivia seems fun. I was looking at win rates and she seems quite well versed against everyone. So I don't really have the patience to like swap in and deck tech and learn all the ins and outs of every matchup. I'd like just a solid foundational hero to use. Way Dabble in Darkness. When this attacks, banish the top card of your deck. This gets minus where X is the pitch value of that card. And then Blood Debt. So it's a weaker version of what's the card? I think of the card. Right. Essentially it's 2 to 4 damage. Unless you lot into a card without a pitch value, but there's not that many. Oh, there's our cold foil. And it's a Radiant Raiment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the cold foil does the initial artwork justice, in all honesty. Butcher and Red Raider. Oh, there we go. A Shade and Death Hydra. That's what we really want. If we get a playset, that would be fantastic. I doubt it in a case. You never know. So, when this attacks, it deals X damage to you, where X is 13 minus the number of cards with Blood Debt in your Banish Zone. So, yeah, it's a take your opponent down with you. The 6 cost. There are ways to make it easier to cast, but yeah, 6 cost, so you'd be pitching, at best 2 blues. Or 3 cards, most likely. Is that worth it? Hard to say. Either way, we'll have some fun playing around with it. I think that's the main thing I want to build around. Gold Cleaver. Interestingly, to me, right, feels like whenever we get our back 3... No, well, there you go. It's a little bit different. I was going to say they're all one side of the coin. Either Shadow or Light. But obviously, we have a Light card there. Okay, so, got a Legendary. Like my 5th copy now, so... And obviously, the Rainbow Falls are pretty cheap. This isn't a bad thing, right? It just means that, again, the dopamine, right, from finding one isn't as significant as what used to be. The Herald and B. Vela. Attack reaction. Pay 1, destroy this, charge your hero soul. So it's an aura, so you put it into the field and then you can just save it, I guess. So Bolton is just all about generating tokens. Mischievous Meeps. When this hits a hero, gain control of an item with a cost 2 or less. Again, another very techie card. Right? It would be great against, obviously, Mechanologist. Frontline goes there. Gel Wrath. Feast and a Ram Raider. We got both the Cold Fall and the Legendary from this box, right? So doubtful we can find anything else. 2 lights and a Rune Blade. Halfway through it, looks like. The packs. That. Look at that. Second Cold Foil, right, from this box? Or did we get the Radiant in the other box? I've gotten it in the other box. Tear Through, Cloak of Darkness, and Beef Fella. What have we ended up with? That so far. 4. 1 Legendary, 3 Cold Foils out of 2 boxes. Seems okay. Again, those are really bottom-end Cold Foils. They don't carry a lot of weight when it comes to the box EV. There, and there. Let's stump these while we're at it. Let's just tilt this as well. Or should I just remove the pop filter and see? Right. Yeah, because now you can hear the pack. That's better. I don't know. Oh, we got a Figment. It's nice. I was looking for the common part. Come on. We got Figment of Triumph. Right. Playing them while they're lonesome. When Victoria attacks, you may banish a card from your hero soul. If you do, attack action cards your opponent control gain -1 until the start of your next turn. It's pretty blanket, decent effect, right? And then the aura is the same, right? When it enters the arena, attack action cards your opponent control get -1 this turn. That's a bit interesting. This turn. It is an instant, so you can play it on your opponent's turn, right? Brutes and a Beaming Blade. Angel, Light, and Shadow. I'll aim the pop filter at me. And then we'll try and have it turn slightly so you can still hear the packs. No? Not enough? Take it off now. Light, Shadow, Bolton. Blade, Light, Root. Oh, Sensor. Another very techy generic. When this hits a hero name card, can't play the name card until the end of their next turn. So obviously it's pretty much usable in every deck against every matchup. You just have to have a decent understanding for your opponents. They can't play the name card until the end of their next turn. Name a card, they can't play the named. I am curious about that, right? Is play equivalent to activating? So for instance, could I just name a opponent's piece of equipment, and then they can't activate it? If that is possible, fantastic. Right, takes the depth of knowledge requirement sort of out of the running. Otherwise, yeah, you just have to learn the meta, which for a lot of people means it's, you know, definitely a really strong card that will see a lot of use and a lot of play. Right, it's 1 for 5 and then a huge priority block. Packs left. 4. Don't find anything decent. Oh, 1 through few. Cleansing Aura. Cleansing Aura. Card has been put into your hero soul. You may play it this turn. Destroy target red aura. Again, how many auras actually have? None of the token auras do, right? So this is sort of match up for Bolton, is it not? Right, you want to use it against other Boltons for all the not banner cards. Where's one of your new auras? Right, so V for Valor. Who else creates colored auras? Yeah, I don't think there are that many colored auras, are they? Oh, finally by Zets. Roots. Runeblade. Stick with Runeblade, even though it has the shadow border. Although I put Levy over here, didn't I? Okay, last pack for the box, and we get nothing really. 2 Brute and 1 Shadow. 2 boxes to go. I'll just pull all the packs out, I suppose. Yeah, 522. So the numbers are definitely per case, not per box. Which probably means I also have consecutive cases. Surprised they mark the boxes, because they used to just mark the cases. Curious about the Belgian boxes. I didn't actually look at the one Belgium I had. I think I've already thrown the box out too. Prism, finally. Oh, what are you doing over there? Now we can play new Prism. That's a young variant, so we want the old variant. Well, I probably have it somewhere. Another widespread. This time we have Ruin. So, what's this one? Top deck of their card. Still, to me, I think that's the weakest. Right? And Arsenal, and then deck. Let's still see play. Oh, Cold Foil. Grimoire. Grim. I can't say it because of the R sounds. If you didn't know, I can't do R's, L's, S's, and P's in most cases. Grimoire. No, I can't. Of the Haunt. Create a Eloquence token. Essentially, is half the effect of Soul Shackle. Right, they go again. Buff. So, oh, look at that. And we have Visette 2 with it. Young. So now we have both Visettes. They both over here. So I think it's a decent card. Again, is it worth running that over a lot of the two-handed? I don't know. But I'm interested to find out. Not sure if I'll get to every hero, though. I think having a focus is a bit better when it comes to Flesh and Blood. Brute, another Herald, and Brute. A lot of cold falls in this case, too. I'm thinking about it. Runic Reckoning. This costs 1 less for each rune chant you control. Your next rune blade attack action card you play this turn gets +3 and go again. You need 1 rune chant token, right? And then it's a free +1. Yeah, and it's kind of hard to think about the free cards, right? Because they're not really free. Because having a -1 to your hand to do anything is pretty significant when it comes to Flesh and Blood, right? Because then you're losing cards to pitch, and then it becomes a bit more complicated. I'm still very intrigued why we haven't really seen Intellect touched at all. I do think that, we could have seen a bit more done with Intellect. The Emperor is probably the greatest example. To circumvent his red-only cards, if he had +1 Intellect, or +2 Intellect, or a condition that you needed to gain +1 Intellect even, I think that would be significant enough to see him actually be playable, right? To compensate for the fact that you can only have 1 pitch value cards. But oh well. I'm sure eventually we'll have something with, increasing intellect, decreasing intellect. Just seems weird. 10 sets in, and every hero just has 4. We see health adjusted as per their mechanics, gimmicks, and what they can do. So Prism obviously can summon a decent amount of shields or other targets, right? So lower HP. Same with the Wizard, they can deal, direct damage, so they have low HP. But we don't see Intellect used as a way to balance some weaker effects, right? Even Cheyenne, the fact that you can only run specializations. Okay, if she had 5 Intellect, I think that would be significant enough for her to see, meta play, because it is a decent advantage being able to draw 1 extra card every round, being able to pitch and play. It's just a good way to balance things that we haven't seen utilized at all. And in cards, it's used very sparingly. Nourishing Emptiness, the only card that really comes to mind that had a bonus intellect mechanic. Well, there's others that I'm missing, but yeah, I don't know. Seems like it could be a little bit more commonplace to me. Expendable Limbs. As initial cost to play this, Banish a random card from your hand if it's a 6 or more power. Banish this way, you may play it from your banish zone during your next action phase. Next action phase is good. Right, so you use this to defend and then set up your turn. Is there a lot of cards you want to? Banish a random card. Imagine if they printed some sort of equipment that, made random, not random. Another Levia. Already got Levia though, right? So we don't need that. Got a decent chunk of M's for Levia too, which is nice. Is there no sound? I think there's no sound when I crack packs. Because, well, I have a pop filter on. I can take it off though. I should really set up some music for the background. I don't know, it just incentivizes me to talk more when there's nothing else going on in the background. Whatever. I lost the 2 rares from that pack. Fine. Yeah, cool. Sounds fine, logged in while you were... Yeah. Take the pop filter off. I could balance it though. Right. Better? Do you like the ASMR? Oh, alluring inducement, that's actually good. Right, because I did want to tackle China. Is it strong enough though, right, to see her enter meta play? It is a really good card, right? When this attacks, the defending hero reveals their hand. You may choose a attack action card reveal this way. If you do, this becomes that chosen card, right? And it's when this attacks, so it doesn't have to land or anything like that. Generally you'd probably see an upgrade to damage. Who would you want to run this against? Probably not Vizet. I think Vizet's because of the new mechanic where, again, you want to sort of spend a turn setting up and building rune chant tokens. You might not really hit cards with it. When this attacks the defending hero. Yeah, so they don't have an option to block or get rid of cards either. Still, it's a decent card. I just wish, there was more support in this for all the side heroes, rather than 1 or 2 cards here or there. Another Herald, will break, Phantom. Yeah, I'll do it right by the mic for you there. What do we get? Oh, we got a widespread annihilation. Pretty sure we've gotten the best pulls for Runeblade. But I really want to take a crack at, pulling apart the Levia Blitz deck and turning it into Classic Constructed using the Dusk Till Dawn cards. Widespread Annihilation is the hand one, right? So this is the best widespread card. And Deathly Whale. Ancestral Reprimand. Arrest. Rugged Roller. Interesting to me. Where's my Hexagore? See, I pulled a Rugged Roller aside anyway. So Hexagore is probably the card you most likely want to run with Levia, right? The condition, though. Whenever you attack with blah, 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 it deals 6 minus the number of cards with Blood Debt in your banish zone. So you really want to swing Hexagore first, or use something to get rid of Blood Debt, right? Versus Rugged Roller, where if you use Scab Skins, you have a roll every single turn, guaranteed, right? So a 1 in 6 chance, technically, to have a free 6 hit. Well, not free, but 1 resource less. So I don't know, I feel like having Dice Levia might actually be somewhat decent, rather than going in on the Blood Debt. Just using some of the Shadow Cat cards. Speaking of which, we have not seen the Vortex card, which is the big one I want. I'll probably have to sift through my other Majestics to find it. Oh, it should be over there. Break Dawn. Again, more effects I would have loved to see in the generic slot. Right, had they been generic, they would be great deck techs. But in the white slots, yeah, it fits thematically, but I don't see it really having a whole lot of use. Aside from at, again, draft events, but, well, Dusk Till Dawn was not draftable. 2 packs left. Already found 2 Collectibles in this box, so don't think we'll find much else. Radiant Force Field. If you would be dealt damage, banish a card from your Hero Soul, prevent 1 of that damage. When there are no cards in your Hero Soul, destroy this. So, the upkeep on this should be fairly easy to maintain. And then you just have a flat -1, or essentially an extra piece of equipment. Shadow, light, and that. I'm curious how defensive the new Prism is, especially with the added cards. Oh yeah, last pack. Celestial Resolve, Prism, Blessing, and Deathly Wail. Junk the commons. Almost full 1 box. And last box of the case. Packs here, and some here. Ooh. Is there anything big we're still looking for? Obviously, like to see a legendary. We did get, what did we get? We get 2, no, we only got 1. We got the Caprice. Carapace. Same thing. Yeah, and the whiting, or the edge damage on Japanese cards is always awful. Just to open a pack and see. Right, can you make that out? What can you do, though? At least it's the back, I suppose. Junk. Beseech the Demigod. Oh, blah, choose an attack action card in your base zone, it gets +2. That could see some fun interactions with some of the Levia stuff, right? That allows you to play banish cards. Or even set up banish cards. What if this reach? I don't think it'll reach, though. I think I'm moving the mic. Right, if I put it on the other side here, probably see the filter. Just put that behind. That might be a little bit better for cracking packs. Right, because now I don't have to move all the way there. Do this, and you should be able to hear. Yeah, that's a bit better. What do we get? Deathly Wail, nada. Develop in Darkness. Create a rune chat token. Next attack token card with Runegate gains +2. Yeah, so again, it definitely feels like Vyzet is kind of all about the setup. Right, spend a turn setting up, and then you go for a big heavy turn where you're popping your rune chain tokens and everything. Another Widespread Annihilation. Pretty sure I've gone to playset this case from them. And Luminaris. That's actually good talking points. Right, so this compared to the Iris of Reality. Target Angel, attack, or attack action card with Herald in its name, gains Go Again, versus just being able to swing with any aura. Definitely, obviously, Prism's not as strong as old Prism, with itemization or anything like that. I guess it's the type of deck you set up. If you go for a defensive aura-filled deck versus a deck that leans on the new Figments and just Heralds altogether. I think, obviously, they're really pushing her to just play Heralds. You never know. I think it's still viable, right? Unlike a lot of times where you just have a standout weapon. Slithering Shadowpede. If this was banished from your hand this turn, you may play it from your banish zone. Blood Debt, it's 1 for 6, plus then you've got all the different ways to buff cards in your banish zone. Might be worth building around. We'll sift through at the end and sort of think about what we want to build around. White and equipment. And Demagon and Scream. Another Herald, and another Vela. I think with a case, you can definitely upgrade all the blitz decks easily. Is that worth it, right? So you pay, what is it, US, like $300, and then an extra, I don't know, $20, $30, $40 for the blitz decks. I mean, you split that between a group of friends, right? For you all pick a blitz deck, and then you all take the cards that you necessarily need for your hero. Yeah, that could work, right? It's a decent way to spread out the cost. I still think just smaller products or packets that can extend blitz decks would be fine. Or obviously just classic constructed decks. Okay, dig up dinner. Choose 3 random cards in your graveyard. Shuffle all attack action cards with 6 or more this way, and wait. Banish this. Banish this. So there's ways to replay this in Levia, is it not? Because we'll have to look through to see if the cards were strictly, if it has blood debt, you may play it or something like that. But otherwise, that could be, again, not leaning so heavy on the blood debt mechanics or the shadow mechanics, running a sort of Reiner skeleton in Levia, just so then you can make use of the banish mechanics. Might be really decent. Soul Cleaver. Otherwise, that's we have. It's still on Mythic, so I should probably put it aside. Majestic. Did again. The other thing is, I think the mic is one of those ones where it goes to sleep if I stop talking, and the packs aren't quite loud enough to trigger it again. I need to talk just before I open a pack, so you can actually get the full sound effect right now. Upside down. Tribute, Vial, and another Rug Roller. I know, I just like sort of going for the out of the ordinary. I'm sure there are sort of Reiner heavy themed decks for Levia. We'll see what we can come up with. And when it comes to Teleshare, I want to be able to make the deck in person. I'm going to play it online. Prism, Shadow, and Brutes. About halfway? I think we're about halfway. I haven't got the cold foil for this box just yet. Nada. Last few. Okay. Come on. Give me a legendary. Give me a cold foil. Give me something except that. Another thing, right, because of the randomization. I have had a lot of cases where you get the same cold foils. Right? I feel like the randomization is too good for Dusk Till Dawn. Where it's to the point where you might not necessarily want to pick up cases, right? You might want to shop around and try to get boxes from here, there, and everywhere, just so you can avoid randomization. Again, from this set, right? Here's what we've pulled. That is Bolton. Right, so we've got in two Radiant Raiments, right? Decent amount of cold foils. 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 4 boxes, right? So higher than 1 a box. Good. At this angle right now, right? This is a pretty ugly card, is it not? You get the right angle, sure, it's a bit better. But I wish we had Rainbow Foil for the Radiant set, given how gorgeous the base art is. Another Runic Reckoning, Maiden Scream, and Prism. By far the least amount of Prism cards, right? I know I'm not pulling commons out, but if you just look at the pile height. I mean, granted, again, the majority of rares are Herald reprints, and they are hard to find. Vela, Luminara's Lance, and Deathly Whale. 5 to go? 5 to go. Numbskull. This case is definitely feeling my thoughts. Right, I wanna build Levia. Right, by far, we've gone the most brute cards too. And sort of hard at this angle. My angle, I can definitely see we've gone the most brute cards. Foil. Young Visets. Yeah, so we do need that, even though it's a rare. Put it with the Rune Blade. Okay, last 3 packs for the cases. Is there anything possible at the bottom? So far, no. Last 2. There's never anything at the bottom, right? Of the packs. Never. Nothing, nothing, and nothing. Lucky last. Well, there's no angel. And I don't know. Hold the line though. Again, decent deck tech. There's definitely a lot of cards in Dusk Dawn you just want to sideboard for the right matchup. Alright, so I'll clear this out. Again, the pulls weren't so bad. I mean, we got our legendary. Again, we got more than enough cold foils. Be on point. Oh. Frontline, Cloak, Grimoire, Radiant Radiance. So 5, and then a... I want to say Dry, but there's no R. Like Dryad. Is it Dryadic? Might be Dryadic. Carapace. Again, basically just 1/2 of Bloodsheath Skelter. Never anything good at the last pack. Never. Why people randomize, right? Just go through the box. I've had like good stuff in the first pack. Had good stuff in the middle, but never anything good at the bottom. Right, let's clean up a little bit. We'll crack open the Blitz decks. See what we can do with Levia. Right, see what we can turn it into with what we have pulled. And if we need some extra stuff, I'll just go through my other pulls. Because if you didn't know, I have opened a bunch of Dusk Dawn. Yeah, no One Ring. I bought some Lord of the Rings. Sub-Zero. So I was going to open it. It came the day after it was announced that it was found. So good luck on a return, right? Okay, so we have Rune Blade, stick them up here. Prism, Bolton, and then the cards we are interested in. Right, so Levia, Shadow, and I guess some of the generics. What are these? These are just the light cards. I'm running out of room. You know what? We'll do a few more. I have loose packs here, right, from one of the other videos. Yeah, I was opening equivalents to whatever I was opening. See if there's anything decent left in these. Why not? Take the back 3, and I don't really care about the rest. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it's what we could honestly expect with The Lord of the Rings, right? I mean, you wanted to open it for the hype, but you knew you weren't really going to get anything. I mean, but funny enough, there are still all the other serialized cards, but no one really cares about them. I mean, it's probably still somewhat worth opening to try and find the Elven rings, and the Dwarven rings, and the Human rings. Did I get that right? Was that the 3? Plus, the normal version of the One Ring is still holding really decent value. Even the guaranteed one from the bundle is still like a $30, $40 card or something like that. I call down Lightning for Lexi. That's a nice pull. Still nothing though. 5 to go. These ones were from a randomized segment. So there could be something in them. Yeah, and Dusk Till Dawn feels good just to go grab loose packs, grab a box. You don't get penalized like a lot of the other sets for not sticking to a case or sticking to the expected odds. Ah, now isn't that a decent pull? Standard Art Widespread Destruction. The second best widespread to me. Well, I also got a bundle actually, so I might open that then at some point. Right, what do you get guaranteed? You get the art set and the One Ring. Plus, I like the boxes. I like collecting the actual gift bundle boxes. Although I skipped to the whole last segment of sets for the year. Right, I've been dry of MTG. Okay. Standard Art, foil, nice looking card. When the combat chain closes, destroy a card in their arsenal. So the second strongest effect of the widespread. Right, so you've got one that is hand, one that is arsenal, and one that is deck. Put that over there, because it's a valuable card. Last 2 packs. We actually pull something decent in the end. Herald, okay. And Lucky Last. Decimator's Axe is actually quite nice. Again, I might try an Emperor build. Although, in thinking about it, right, running this in Emperor, 3 to play it. So it's basically your whole hand gone just to swing with the Great Axe. Probably not worth it. Again, I wish they just gave him more intellect. More intellect, bigger hand size to circumvent the can only play red cards. Okay. Decent pull. No cold foil, but still a decent pull. We'll crack on into the Blitz deck and see what we can make of it. I'll just stick these up here for now. Alright, so let's see. Again, I haven't actually touched any of them. I buy them all just to sit on a shelf. And I usually buy the brick and then loose ones as well. I should open them, right, and see what I pull. Plus, if I want to re-get them, they're... I think the 4 for Monarch are actually like $20 here in Australia. I've seen listed. I could get this open. The little pull tab it's not great. There we go. Let's see what comes in a Levia Blitz deck. SD1 should start 2 days. Right, so tomorrow should be another tier list. And then the SD1 should be scheduled for the day after. I'll probably try and stick with one dimension, even when they start to get slow. Similar to what I did with my first SD2. I can't get this tier tab. Come on. Ooh. Like just sticking out, but not to the point where I can grab it. Do I use a knife? I got to level relics faster than one every stream looking for this. That is why I don't stick around for the real endgame. I just don't have the patience. Alright. You get normal Levia, but not the adults. Which is an interesting thing. Right, in the Blitz decks, this back card, I mean, I suppose you could play it. You just have to, well, you know the effects. You just have to know the life pool and whatnot. But I feel like they should come with both, right? To make it an easy way to then extend into Classic Constructed. So we get Rainbow Foil Levia. That's probably worth actually opening all of these, right? Just for the Rainbow Foil versions. Again, this is what annoys me. It feels like in Dusk Till Dawn, a lot of the cards are not given in their full capacity. Right, we don't get rainbow foils of the majority of cold foils. We don't get rainbow foils of any of the heroes or any of the tokens. Is so that they can save them for promos and blitz decks to avoid their whole not wanting to just flood reprints, which is nice. But I feel like the decks and the boxes should come before promos or anything like that. Okay, Levia, we do get the tutor. What does it do? Mentor, I should say. May only have blah 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 if your hero is young. At the start of your turn, it's face down your arsenal, you may turn it face up. When you play attack action card, banish the top card of your deck. If the banished card has 6 or more attack, gains dominates, and put a lesson counter on Barthamont. Saying that right? Then, if there are 2 more lesson counters on Barthamont, banish it, search your deck for a specialization card, put it face up into your arsenal, and shuffle. Curious. Does this say anywhere that it is shadow only? Right. It says young. It just says brute. So I would feel this has a lot more use in Rhino than in Levia. Right, because you want the dominate. And obviously, Alpha Rampage, having a way to tutor that out would be significant. Either way, both of them can go to the side. So our equipment. We have the Ravenous Meat Axe. 2 for 3. That's kind of awful. Ebb and Fold. Banish a card from your hand if it's a shadow card, draw a card. Is decent cycling. We have tons of the Crown of Providence, so we're probably going with that. Or even just the new Brute headgear. Spellfray Cloak. Goliath's Gauntlet. Destroy the Gauntlets. The next attack action card with a cost 2 or greater gains +2. That's decent. That one can stay. Then Hooves of the Shadow Beast. Whenever a card with 6 or more damage is put into your banish zone, you may destroy this. If you do, gain 1 action point. That is also decent. Right. Any red poppings? Yeah. What are the normal cards? Smash. Smash. Rally. No, there's no poppings. Can you get poppings? Is there some randomization to the Levia deck? That will be the annoying thing, though, right? Trying to go and pull out Rhino. I'll have to do that in half time when I go through my folders. I assume you get it in the history brick, right? In the Rhino. Yeah, Rhino, Dorentia, yeah. That actually might be worth, right? Grabbing a Levia Blitz deck and then a Rhino Blitz deck and just smashing them together. But we'll see what we can make with this, right? Although we should probably just go through some of the important cards, right? So we have Soul Harvest. As additional cost to play Soul Harvest, banish 6 cards from your graveyard. It gains +1 for each card with Blood Debt. Right, so it's a 12 for 6. Kind of. Well, you could combo this into the Shade and Death Hydra, right? So you get 6 into your. Not random, right? Yeah, so you get 6 into your banish zone to then decrease the amount of damage you're taking from the Shade and Death Hydra. But the cost of 12. That's kind of hard to meet. Boneyard Marauder, Deadwood. Again, I pretty much feel like just not going after Shadow Brutes for its core cards, right? Going after a strong Brute backbone, and then just using some of the niche stuff from Shadow section. If we go through my action, so these are all the M's I've gone so far. We are looking for. We're looking for like Chains of Nephites, right? Is a good stall card, is it not? Side turn, destroy this unless blah blah blah. If your hero would draw a card during an action phase, instead they banish the top card of their deck, and you may play it. Sorry, right? So that definitely goes into Shadow and everything. Sensor is definitely something you probably want to include. I'm looking for the Vortex card and Diabolic Offering too. If 6 or more has been put into your banish zone's turn, damage is 6, otherwise they're 0. Right, so even that, comboing Soul Harvest into the Diabolic Offering would be a bit better. There's decent ways to pump out some good damage. I'm looking for the Vortex. Should have a copy of it. I pulled them. Oh, that's another offering. Dabble. Did I not? Did I not grab the Dimensional Vortex? Let's go through one more pass. I can't remember if that's Shadow or Runeblade. I'm pretty sure it's Shadow, and I'm pretty sure you'd want it, because it's a guaranteed CNC effect. I guess I have not pulled a copy yet. Interesting. I've ended up. Oh, boy. I've done like 10 cases. That is not all the Majestics I have. I have another whole section in the little storage box. Right, so this is all M's too. Makes a lot more sense. Oh. There we go. So yeah, so Spoiled Skull. You definitely probably want to run. Expendable Limbs. Don't think we got any Blood Dripping Frenzy in the case we just opened. Additional cost, banish your hand. Draw a card for each card with Blood Debt, banish sway, your Brutes, and Shadow Gains plus X. Right, and that's a decent way to set up for the Shade and Death Hydra too. But it's just about meeting the 6-card cost. Is the annoying part. You're in here somewhere. There we are. It is Shadow. Perfect. Right. So you may play this from your banish zone. If you do, it costs 2 less to play. Right. So definitely works well with Levia, with a lot of her mechanics, with like Soul Harvest searching. And then you can banish a card directly from your opponent's arsenal. A good way to shut down Lexi, right? Who's still dominating the meta, even with the new bans. Is she not? Any other ones I realistically want? Probably not. Yeah, no. Alright. Put these aside, and we'll think about combos. Cards that feed into other cards. Again, for all intents and purposes, we're gonna start from 0, so to speak. Right? So I want to treat this kind of like I'm completely relearning the game. I think that's the best way to do it. So to start off, besides knocking my mic, we have a assume 40 card deck. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so 40 card deck, and we need to upgrade it to a 60 card deck using what we've found here, right? And then we can swap out some better cards if the time comes. I will just look up the exact requirements. So constructed, and not in Google's radar yet. Type in the whole thing. Okay, so 4 class constructed. What do we need exactly? 1 hero, 80 card pool, which is including the weapon cards and equipments, and then you start with 60. Right, so the extra deck is essentially 16 cards, 15 cards, and up to 3 copies of each unique card, which includes color strips. Oh, my cat wants to go in. Give me a sec, I'll be back. I'll get a drink too. So, importantly, we'll start with equipment rights. Let's do with all the cards. Everything we don't need, just get rid of for now. Why are these jumbled? I'll sort them. I'll sort through it later. Then we'll sleeve the widespread destruction. Where's the other? Where'd I put the cold falls just now? Probably in that pile. I just saw it at the end. Weapon wise, okay. Hex score is the main thing that a lot of people use, right? So you attack with it first. You need go again. I think I like the rug roller a bit more. Right, it's just a free way to, well, it's not free, but it's one cost to finish off your turn, and then you just go with scab skins. Yeah, and then we just go for high cost, high damage other cards. We'll try it. Why not? Next action card, you play this turn, gains +1. If this attack hits, look at the top card of your deck, you may banish it. The Monarch Majestics we probably want as well. Still with that. Pull that out. Equipment-wise, there was some other stuff we wanted. Great Axe go here. Monarch cards. Shadow. Brute. Alright, Brutes. Not the equipment. Already got a Rug Roller. Want. What's goal? What else are we missing? Right, so we have Headpiece. We have Levia. I want the adult version anyway. We have our weapon. We have our legs, which if I'm using Rug Roller, probably going to use Scab Skins instead. I should have a copy somewhere. What Spike too. Oh. It's in my cold foil folder. Right. So, Scab Skins instead. Once per turn, roll 6-sided dice, gain action points equal to half the number rolled down. Right, and then if you get a 6, obviously, you just activate Rug Roller with it. Okay, so the hooves we don't need in the end. So what's all we missing? We're just missing chests, which you most likely just run Tunic. You know, resources. Is there better resource generation for Brute just yet? Probably not, no. Right, so head, shoulders, knees, and toes, basically. Tunic. Rock Roller is a weapon. Seems decent. We just have to think about actual chains of attack. Right. And we have the main deck here. Soul Harvest being the big thing. Which you can only have one of two, so is it super worthwhile? No. What are the other high value cards in this? We have Endless Maw, additional cost, banish 3 random cards from graveyard. 3 is kind of annoying. 3 for 6 is decent though. Rare, Writhing Beast Hulk, sorry. Banish 3 cards from graveyard. Yeah, so there's decent ways to get enough cards for like the Shade and Death Hydra. But again, our heavy hitters. So Soul Harvest, Definite, Numbskull, probably something you want to include because it's low cost for 6. Then we want the Shade and Hydra, wherever it is. Dig Up Dinner, definitely some way to cycle. Use 3 random cards in your graveyard, shuffle attack cards with 6 or greater back into your deck. Yeah, so you probably want to cycle Dig Up Dinner into your other cards. Again, I don't want to lean too heavily on the Banish Zone. I think, again, using a Rhino Backbone and just having the ability to utilize cards twice because of the Banish Zone is a little bit better. If this was banished from your hand this turn, so it has to be banished from your hand. 1 for 6, so it's pretty good. Expendable Limbs, that's the other M. Right, and then we just want 3 of each of them. We start figuring out the other includes and then the Shade and Death Hydra. Then treat me like a complete novice. Just slapping together cards, mostly. Should have enough for playsets, most likely. Ooh, there's another Hydra. A Diabolic Offering, that's actually another one. 1, 2, 3 copies is what we need. Skull. We're going to go through that. make it hard to get out again. Warmonger's Diplomacy, is that also something? We'll worry about the deck tech later. Blood Dripping Frenzy. Actually, a lot more ends than what I was thinking. They're blues too, which is nice. Third Shade Death Hydra. That's... do we already have 3? We did. 3, 3, 3, so we're only missing Blood Dripping Frenzy, Dig Up Dinner, and the Slithering Shadowpede. Pull that out, because I think that's decent deck tech. The Slithering. We have 3 Hydras. Stick to the normal copies, rather than going for the foil. 3 Expendable Limbs already, Diabolic Offering, it's 3. Numbskull is 3. Centipede, 3 now too. More Dig Up Dinners, please. Frenzy, Dig Up Dinner. Oh, third one. And then obviously before we start pruning and then figuring out what exactly is necessary, we're just going to do max copies of everything. Get the confusion down. Okay, so just the Majestics from Dusk, right? It's 3. I did grab an extra copy. 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Look at that, 20. Right. So you take the Majestics and then the Blitz deck, and you've got your 60 card deck. Right, and then the whole game plan would be what? So Slithering Centipede, for all circumstances, is just one of your target filler cards, right? So you just want to get banished so you can play it. You wouldn't go out of your way to play it normally, I don't think. Numbskull, right? Well, it's in any zone, it can't be modified, so it's 2 for 6. It's just a good finisher to sort of cement, right, the amount of damage. It sort of just applies pressure. Yeah. Because, so a big thing in most CCGs, right, the whole concept is the only damage points you care about is the final one. Flesh and Blood does it a little bit decently, where you do care about getting to X brackets, right? So in certain matchups, you can know the upper limit of the amount of damage a certain hero can put out, right? So against them, you care about that, and also the pointed damage that gets you within that threshold. Having cards to pressure is really good. A Diabolic Offering card with 6 or more has been put into your Banish Zone's turn, right? So you don't want to hit this, but you do want to play some of the filler cards that allow you to play from the Banish Zone. It does not have innately 6, so actually, you know, I don't think you want to include Diabolic Offering. It's nice, right, being 1 for 6 if you meet its conditions, but because it doesn't trigger a lot of the other effects, I don't think you necessarily want it. Right, so Expendable Limbs, as additional cost, banish a random card from your hand. If it's 6 or more, you may play it from the Banish Zone during your next action phase. So all around, it's a really strong defensive card. Right, you can either use it to block with its effect, which is really decent, or it's just a blue pitchable. Right, use it to fuel your Soul Harvest and your Shade and Death Hydra. And yeah, we definitely want them. Blood Dripping Frenzy. There's an additional cost to play this. Banish your hand. Draw a card for each card with Blood Debt banished this way. So you gotta pay the 2 though. Right, if you had a Tunic, use that, or go for something else. I'm trying to think how to populate your hand with enough cards to actually meet some of the plays you want, right? Because obviously this is great for setting up. You use this, you dump 3 of your cards, you gain 3 cards back, and you know, you've met the requirements for lots of different blood debt mechanics, for a lot of different Levia mechanics. Would you want all three? And the plus X is nice too, where X is the number of cards with blah blah blah. So in most cases, it's like a +3 damage for 2, plus then also meeting the requirements. Probably wouldn't want to run 3 copies, but you would want to run some of them. And then Shade and Death Hydra as sort of the finisher. Right, so when this attacks, it deals X damage to you, where X is 13 minus the number of cards, with Blood Debt in your banish zone. As long as you're using a lot of the graveyard mechanics, right, you could use this as a finisher. You definitely wouldn't want 3 copies because you wouldn't be able to meet the requirement for 3 copies. So it's probably equivalent to Soul Harvest. You just run maybe 1 or 2, and then yeah, you just save it for one of those turns where you do actually meet all the requirements. I think the best thing to do with Levia is play a bit more control, because there is a lot of setup. You can push heavy damage to sort of pressure your opponent, right? Just swinging for 6 is an easy thing for Brute, right? So you can definitely pressure them, but then setting up for the big things. And the Shade and Death Hydra is sort of a last use card, right? Use it where you're both low, you know it's not going to completely wipe you. You definitely can't meet the requirement of 13, but you can get close. I mean, by the end of the game, you would definitely have 13 cards, right? You wouldn't have to really worry about that. And then during the early game and mid game, you're just pitching it for 2. To me, Levia seems like she wants to run a lot of blue. Right, and again, play in a controlled and defensive fashion. We'll keep 3 for now. Then Dig Up Dinner and Numbskull. Again, I like them. Right, I like Numbskull. I think you'd run 3. 2 for 6 is just something you throw out to pressure. It's 3 blocks, so you can also use that. And then Dig Up Dinner as a way to cycle back and also heal, recover a bit, is nice. Right? Would you run 3 copies? I mean, it's blue, only costs 1. 3 random cards in your graveyard, shuffle all attack action cards with 6 or more. And then you banish this. So it in itself can never plague your graveyard, right? Because it will never be in your graveyard, it'll be in your banish zone. Is it a dead card in your banish zone? I don't think there's anything that is play a random card or anything like that from your banish zone. I don't think it's a dead card, right? So you'd probably want to run 3. Right, 3 Dig Up Dinners. And the common rare slot. Right, where are some of the big graveyard ones? If you banish cards, gains Overpower, 2 for 4. 2 for 4 is not bad with Overpower. Additional cost, banish a random card from your hand. I think you want to target the graveyard more so. Hand. Hand. Right. For all the graveyard ones, the Precons. Gains +1, 3 for 7. And then if you meet the banish requirement, it's 3 for 8. That actually seems decent. Wall Breaker, 2 for 6 on the red versus 2 for 4. Again, you're all about finding cards with the 6, right? So that you meet some of the other requirements. Banish card from your hand, random. Next brute attack is +4. You probably want the blue, right? +3 is decent. Then you have it as your pitchable. Find 3 copies of that blue. 1, 2, 3. Something we haven't seen. Banish random card from your hand, and these really outcompete the Monarch cards, right? Because all of these are banished from your hand. Brute or Shadow attack action card gains +5. You just need more resource generation. Make it worthwhile to banish from your hand. Right, and then what do we have? So yeah, banish from your graveyard. Seems good. Banish card from graveyard. Again, I think just graveyard is significantly more advantageous. Especially if, again, we're running this sort of hybrid where we're leaning more heavily on brute cards. You'd want a few of these so that you can meet that 6 requirement. If you are hybriding it, right, running more Rhino cards in Levia, you probably don't want the Shade and Death Hydra and Soul Harvest, right, because you're searching for Blood Debt. You just want the impactful cards. the heavy hitting numbskull because you can't modify it. Blood Drip Frenzy. This turn where X is a number of +6. Right, so you don't need the Blood Debt mechanic. Yeah, and then probably Slithering Shadow Pete is your big target, right? Because it costs 1, you can play it for 6. You get into Banish Zone using some of the other mechanics, right? Like Blood Drip Frenzy and whatnot. No, not Blood Drip Frenzy. Expendable Limbs. Yeah, or some of the other buff cards like the Scream. Oh, a big thing that always sticks in my mind, right, is how good it would be to be able to just float resources, right? But you can't. You have to have something played to then pitch. You can't over pitch and float resources that way. You can't just say, well, I'm going to pitch this, and this, and then go into all these effects, which obviously is for balancing reasons. But it'd be so good if you could just float resources. Also, I have lost track of time. It is 11:30. Yeah. I think we'll wrap it up here. We did a decent amount of discussion on Levia. I think I will tinker with this, and yeah, I wanna start playing on Talishare again a bit more consistently. We'll probably go with Levia. Yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I mean, it was mostly the pack openings. That's what a lot of people like to see, right? So we did some pack openings. We did case. Got some decent pulls. Picked apart Levia. Discussed that a little bit. I want to come up with my own thing first, and then maybe look at other decks online. Yeah, some sort of hybrid with Reiner is what I think I'll go for. Anyway, hope you enjoyed.